Welcome back to Salazar Art Nation. This is Frank, and this is going to be a little bit of a crafting video. I've been spending a lot more time on my other channel, Roll for Turaco, and on that channel, I made a little book, and I thought, you know what, I'll make one. I made another one. I thought I do it on this channel so you can see that. So I made this book. This is some mid-tone cardstock that was given to me by Miss Didi Willingham. Thank you, Didi. I've been using it, and I made it look like this old vintage book. And I did this for a character that I created on the Roll for Turaco channel. So I gave him. He's a magic user. This is for a TTRPG game. So I made him his own spell book, and the way I'm gonna use it is, some spells for the games, a little character journal. So I thought, it would be cool if he had his own physical book. So I made that, and that's, you can see this being made on Roll for Turaco. I also did this one, which you can also see that being made a little bit on there as well. This is minimal blank pages. I didn't do that many. Oh yeah, I do want to point out, because this does get pointed out a lot. So it's the book of howls. I did this in the perspective of the character writing it down, and he misspelled it because he is a Barkling. That's a dog-like creature, and so he's intelligent. He doesn't have a reason to write down howls, so he misspelled it. But it's spelled correctly on the PDF version. So that's the in character in world explanation. Now we're gonna make a different one, because I want to turn my magic user into a cleric, so he's gonna get his own book. So let's make that book now. Now, before you start making the book, I suggest you put on a pot of coffee. I use coffee. And this is not for you. I mean, you can drink it if you want, but this is to age your pages. Now, you can use whatever you want. You can use tea. Some people say it doesn't get as dark. I haven't used tea. I have coffee, so I use coffee. You can also use soy sauce, but I decided to use coffee. That's how I made the Magic User spell book, and I wanted to do the cleric book the same way. And this is just how I did it. You can spread out the pages, full pages, and just dip it one at a time. Let it soak, or just do a few at a time, just to let them soak. I folded up a sheet of paper in fourths, and I did do more than the 4 pages I did for the spell book. I think I did 8 in total, 8 little booklets like that. But yeah, I just dip it, let it soak a little bit, swirl it around. And I did that for each booklet, and I placed them on this baking pan. You can see my baking pan it's been loved. It's well loved. I've used it many times, and it's come it blackened. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your taste, on how you want your book, your journal, whatever it is that you're making, how you want it to look. Now, after this was done, it picked up some of that dinginess from the pan, and it just made the pages look a lot more aged than they were. It looked like it was picking up some mold, and it wasn't. It's just the stains from the pan. So that's up to you. However you want it to look like. After I finished dipping the pages and I laid them out, I did roughly 3 to 4 on a pan. I do this again. I did it more than once, and I put it in the oven for roughly uh, a minute, 2 minutes. I did vary. Sometimes I did 3 to 4 minutes because I was still testing how hot I wanted the oven. I had it baking at 230. So and that's the time that's how the setting for the oven, 230, 240. And I was just watching it. After that, I did take it out for a bit. It was still a little moist, and that's when I was experimenting with the times. But I did also nuke it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then so just put it back in the oven, baked it a little bit more. Uh, since I did 8 little booklets, I did this. I did another pan, and you can see it there. And so I did bake those. The pan that's going to be on your top shelf when you put it in your oven, that's going to get baked a little bit more quicker. So there were some that were a little more darker, a little more baked, and I did rebake them one more time, both, and then I also nuke them in the microwave for a little bit more. And at this point, I was just experimenting. And after that, after I finished baking those, I left them sitting on top of my. Well, I left them sitting on top of my George Foreman grill, which you're gonna see in a little bit. Oh, there you can see them being baked. So I do have them there. Oh, there's the time. There's the setting. Let's see if it's a little clearer. And yes, I do need to clean my oven. That looked to be around 240, 250. So it's up to you. I would monitor it. But here you can see I laid them on my George Foreman grill. It doesn't have to be a grill. You can lay them wherever. You can see some of the pages are already baked. They're darker. And I left them overnight, and they're nice and crisp. Actually, some of these I think I only did for about a few hours. But yeah, I let them dry out, and I like how they came out. Look at them; they look pretty cool. And you can see some of the dinginess from the pan, and you can see how some are a little lighter. So it's up to you how much coffee you want to put in, how much you want to bake it. But I think they came out pretty good. I really like how it all came out, and there I have them all ready. That's how they're gonna be. The pages are nice and laid out. I put them individually in each little in their little place. You can see there's gonna be a lot of excess paper sticking out, so you just cut off the edges there. But you see how it looks. That's how the pages look. Look at that one. It looks like really, really old. It looks like it was in an attic for a really long time. But yeah, I was having fun with this process. And if you want to save time, if you want to just do other pages like that, there are vintage paper sheets that you can buy on Amazon. I did buy I did buy some, and you'll see that how I use that later. But these I made myself. Now this is gonna be the bones of your book cover. I just used cardstock. I folded it in half. Normally, I wouldn't do this while recording with one hand. So it didn't always align. But yeah, just fold the sheet in half and then fold it again, and you can cut off the extra sheet, or just use it as part of the cover, just to thicken up a little bit. But I did cut it in half. But yeah, that's gonna be the bones of your book. And there you can see the cardstock, the mid-tone cardstock paper. And right now I'm gonna do some magic. Bam! There we go. It's already cut. And that's gonna be my cover. See, I have an extra one. So what I end up doing on that one, I just used the vintage paper, a couple of the vintage sheets, and I made a separate little book. But I don't show that. But there's the mid-tone cardstock. Now I measure it out. I do put it there on the corner where I have the white cardstock kind of sticking out a little bit, because I make sure it's nice and centered, and I'm gonna make that cardstock. And you can see there where I drew it. The last time I did on the spell book, it was just a little harder to fold, because I didn't leave a section, a space, not a section. I didn't leave a space where it can be folded like that. So there you can see how I already did that. I already cut it down to size. I have a little bit of the spine sticking out, and don't worry, that's going to be covered up with another piece of cardstock. You can see right there. And actually, I do think I use a different one, because that one was a little bit too thin. But yeah, so now we're gonna put in the paper. And when I say spellbook, there's no actual spells in this or in the other one. I didn't write any spells, since I am using these for a tabletop role-playing game. The quote-unquote spells is just the name of what it is, what it does, how many do you need to roll dice, stuff like that. So there's no actual spells. There's no actual magic in this. You can use the book however you want. And look how good it looks. Look how awesome it looks. And we're gonna put that together. And also, don't worry about the glaring white pages. That's where the vintage sheets of paper come in handy. But first, we gotta staple it. And this is what I was talking about. When I first made it, it was difficult to line it up correctly to add the staples. I just add one staple there in the center. Actually, no, on this one I was able to do 3 staples. On the first one, I only did 1 because it was difficult to line it up. And there you can see the vintage paper that I got on Amazon, and that's gonna be the inside cover, the front cover and the back cover, and also an extra a page to add there. So they already have it folded and cut. And I'm just gonna line it up, and I use Mod Podge to glue it on there, and I use the Mod Podge also for the mid-tone cardstock that became my cover. So there you can see it's all put together. It's all stapled in there nicely. Some of it kind sticks out a little bit wrinkly, but I was fine with it. But see, look at the pages. Look how some of them look like really, just really old. And I like it. I like it. I thought it came out really good. All right, so we can't leave it just like that, and it is kind of sticking out. So this is where I put in the spine there, and I made some little corners, and I used these and these large paper clips, binder clips, to make it flatter. But we're gonna add something else. We're gonna add this blue cardstock, and it's already cut in half, and that's gonna be the cover. It's gonna be the front cover, and we're gonna some Mod Podge there, and bam, it's done. It's put together. It's been Mod Podge. Everything is done. Look at all the magic that I use. I'm a regular sorcerer. But man, oh man, look at that book. Looks pretty good as is. Like that, it can be anything. It can be a journal, it can be a sketchbook, but it turned into a cleric book. And so I gotta fill it up with some cleric spells and some journals, do some journal entries. And I did add that drawing that I printed out of Reno, my magic user, and I modified it, and there he's a cleric. So that's it. Here it is. I added more stuff to it outside of that video. So this is the back of it. And I just drew on here. And here's the front. So since it's a cleric, I did kind of make this a little bit like, like a cross. And does have a paw print. I added a little stone here. Oh, and the inside, let me show the inside of this one. So this is the character I made. I printed it out. And that's Reno. You can see that in the video where I make this character. Which I think I did accidentally upload it here, so I took it down and it's up there. So it was meant for a roll for Turaco. But I will be doing, I'll upload a version for it here. So that's Reno the magic user. Now here he is as Reno the cleric. So there are very slight differences, not too much. Staff, spellbook is different. The robe is different. And I did add more pages to this one. And this is some vintage paper that I bought on Amazon. I just use it for the inside, and an extra page here as well. But all these I made by dipping them in coffee. So that's my cleric book for the TTRPG game, Basic Fantasy. So I do a video like that on here, so you can see how you can make your own books like this. Doesn't have to be for TTRPGs. You can make little journals, little sketchbooks. This has been Frank Salazar for Salazar Art Nation. Make comics, not excuses. Make something. Do something creative. Tell the world. We'll see you next time.